This is Chapter 8 of the Getting to Know ArcGIS textbook. We are on page 254, which is where the tutorial actually starts, the hands-on part of it. But before doing that, you should read pages 249 through 254, where they talk about some of the different options for creating maps. So we've started ArcMap, and we want to open the example 08A map folder. So we need to browse. And we're on Chapter 8, and we're on Tutorial A. So let's open that file up. And what we see here is a map of Texas counties. And we're on page 255 now, number 2. And there's only one layer here. Let's right-click on it. And we want to see the attribute table, which is all of the data behind each county. And so we've got population, area, divided up in land and water, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's the data. And now we're going to be mapping some of that later on. Now let's turn to page 256. We want to close the attribute table. And in our table of contents over here on the left, double-click the county's layer name to open the Layer Properties dialog box. And we want to click on the Symbology tab here. And over on the left side is the show box, and what we want to show is the quantities. And it looks like it's going to do low numbers in yellow, high numbers in dark brown. And we have to tell it which number it is that we want plotted, or which field it is that we want plotted. So we go to the fields here, because there could be a whole bunch of different numbers associated with a given county on the map. And I want Berg 02. So I think that's data from 2002. And now it says if our color ramp is different, and this is going to be random, so yours may not be yellow and brown. What we want to do is we want to click on the down arrow here, and we want to select some different colors. And the one we want is blue light to dark. And let's, I'm guessing it's probably this one right here. And that looks pretty much like the picture on the middle of page 256. And what this does is it is going to give us a map. Let's click on OK. And now our map should look pretty much like the one on page 257. And this is just plotting absolute numbers. So you can probably guess that this is where the heavily populated areas are, because they're obviously going to have the highest numbers. I think this is Houston here, and this might be Dallas, maybe. I don't know my Texas geography very well. And now it says use the identify tool to look at the attribute information of various counties. So if we look at our identify button up here, and let's go click on this and see, of course the county name is probably not going to be the same as the name of the city. Oh, it is. So that's Dallas County, and let's see what this is down here, which is, I'm pretty sure, is Houston, and that's Harris County. And here's another one, and the name of that is Bexar County. Okay, number 7 on page 257. In the table of contents, double-click the counties layer to open the Layer Properties dialog box. So we're going to do that again. And again, we want to go to the Symbology tab, and we're already there. In the classification frame, okay, so the classify, here's a classification frame. This little box here is called a frame. And what we want to do is we can determine how many classes we want. And there's also different ways to break up the numbers. And we want to click the classes arrow, and we want 3 different classes. And we want to click on apply, and I guess we want to move this away so we can see. And now if we divide into 3 groups, still almost all of them are this lightest number here for low numbers of burglaries. And now it looks like we've got 4 counties here that are dark. So we've chosen a different way or different number of groups to display, and so obviously that's going to change the colors of some of the counties on the map. Now we've also got different options here for deciding where you draw the lines between one shade and another. And so now we're going to go to page 259. In the classification frame on the Symbology tab, click Classify. So we're going to click on a Classify button. And right now it's telling us the method that is used. And if we click on Classify here, it will give us some other options. These are the different ways to determine where your line breaks are going to be between one shade and the next. And we have a list of break values over here, and the first one is 1,564, and it says click on that, and it selects it, and you see that's going to be this number over here, which is red. And as I click on the numbers here, the lines over here that show where the breaks are turn red. If I click on the last one, this one will turn red. And we got little bar charts here that kind of show you the numbers, but it's it's not very effective because there's not much in, especially this last one out here. Looks like there might be a couple of little bumps like there and there and there. Okay, now let's go to page 260, number 11. Right-click the histogram near the origin, so that would be this little bar right here. Right-click on it, and click Zoom in. So let's zoom in on that, and now we can see better representation. We want to zoom in again, I guess. Okay, and now we can see the actual individual bars a little bit better. And now what we're looking at should be similar to what we see on the bottom of page 261. Okay, and now what we want to do is, actually I've got more bars it looks like, and that might actually we're not to the bottom of page 261 yet. We need to do number 12 on page 261. In the columns box, change the default value of 100 to 25. So right here is the number 100. I'm going to change that to 25, and now we'll have fewer bars, and now it looks pretty similar to the one at the bottom of page 261. And for some reason these two bars look a little different. It looks like there's only one bar for the two of them there in the textbook, but otherwise if you compare them, they look pretty much the same. And the reason apparently is because for some reason here I have different breakpoints here, and I don't know if that's simply a function of the resolution of my monitor or what, but it doesn't look exactly like page 261. Don't worry about it. It should look similar. Now let's go to page 262 and number 13. In the classification frame, click the method arrow and click equal interval. So that's the classification frame is up here, and I want equal interval, and click on that. And now it's going to do this and this and this, and it shows me where the break values are. And what that does is it makes, the distance from here to here and from here to here and from here to here exactly the same. So if we have a whole bunch more down here, we're going to see, many more in this lighter area of blue down here and fewer up here. So almost everything falls in here. I'm going to click on OK for a second and then click on OK, and we'll see what we get here. And yeah, now there's very little variation in our map at all. Let's go back to counties here and click on Classify again. And now we're going to click on, I'm on the top of page 263. Now we're going to click on the classification method, and we're going to click quantile. And what this will do is it will break it up into so that there's an equal number of counties in each group. So if we choose 3 here, then we're going to have the same number of counties in each of 3 different groups. So let's click on OK and click on OK. And now if we look at our map and we look at the map on the top of page 264, they should be identical. Looks like my shades of blue are a little brighter than theirs, but otherwise it should be identical. There's a little lighter one right there that kind of stands out, and down here at the bottom a couple of lighter ones that stand out, and some darker ones here and here and here. And so without looking at every single county, it looks like we've pretty much got exactly what they have in the book. Now we want to go back to the Symbology tab again, so double click on counties to bring up the layer properties. And I want to click on Classify again, and for this one I want natural breaks. And instead of 3, I want 7. Okay. Now I think I'm going to have a problem with this when we go look at the map. If we click on OK, and click on OK, and now if we look at the map, there are 7. Are there 7 values there? Let's double check on that, see if, yes, there are. Okay. However, now it looks like this one might be a little bit, I don't think they're the same color. Problem with 7 shades of the same color is that it's almost impossible to tell by looking if it's this one or this one. 7 is too many for the same shade. So now we want to go back to the Symbology tab again, and actually, you know what I would do on one like this? I think I would do one that does different colors. These are kind of tricky sometimes too. How about if one goes from green to red, and click on OK. And so we've got dark green on one end and it gradually changes to yellow. Still, it's going to be hard. I think it's hard to tell the difference between these two. Here we've got 2 different colors of orange, but if you look on the map over here, they're definitely different shades of orange. This is darker and this is lighter. So you can kind of play around with that. You can also determine your own colors here. I don't know if that's covered in this chapter necessarily, but you can change it and put your own colors in if you want. Let's go back to counties here, and on the Symbology tab, and I'll go back to the blue ramp that they had before. And now what we want to do is we want to click the label column header here, and we want to click on Format Labels. And this is where we can format these numbers right here. And what we're going to do is, under rounding, we're going to change the number of decimal places to 0. Whoops, wrong button. And we also want to show the thousand separator. I would think that would be on all the time. And click on OK. And now we're on the top of page 266, number 19, and I just did that. I closed the dialog box and then click on OK again, and that makes this more readable over here, I think, without 6 decimal places in the number and with commas added in. And now we want to go to Layout View, so let's go up here and go to View and choose Layout View. And we haven't really talked about Layout View yet, but Layout View takes the map and makes it, lets you add documentation, like a legend and a title and who created it and some stuff like that. And we want the full extent button right here, and that'll make it much bigger, so it basically fills this box. And that takes us to the end of 8A, and so we'll end the video there, and then we'll continue with 8B in a separate video.